Arratsaldeon, ongi etorriak izan zaitezte Donostia Zinemaldira. Buenas tardes y sed bienvenidas al Festival de Cine de San Sebastián. Good afternoon and welcome to the San Sebastian International Film Festival. Gaur, kafe bat hartuko dugu Every You, Every Me filmeko zuzendaria eta ekoizlearekin, FETTER, NATHANSKY eta Virginia Martin urrenez urren. La película de producción germano-española se estrenó ayer en la sección Zabaltegi-Tabakalera del festival, habiendo pasado anteriormente en su estreno mundial por la sección Panorama del Festival de Berlín. Sin embargo, la primera vez que se vieron sus imágenes filmadas fue el pasado año en el marco de industria del Festival de San Sebastián, cuando el proyecto participó en el programa WIP Europa, alzándose con dos de sus premios principales. Thank you for being here with me. First of all, I wanted to ask you how you experienced the premiere of the film yesterday in Zabaltegi, especially in a festival you already know a lot about.
Yeah, it was very nice. We were waiting for it already for a long time because we were here last year because of the WIP. And so I think we imagined it already a lot of times, and then it finally happening was very, very nice. Actually, our family was also there, and you asked us some very, very interesting questions that we had also never asked before, and it was nice to discover. We always discover the film in a new way while talking with the audience, and that was like that yesterday, and we are still very thankful, grateful.
I wanted to ask you about, intervening in the film, in the matter of the film, I wanted to ask you about this spectacular start that introduces us to the film's proposal, but also reveals a point of view, Nadine's one, and also sets the tone of fable and magic of the film. And on the one hand, I wanted to ask you how you conceived this. Yesterday we told about this Kafkian kind of idea with Paul's metamorphosis, and on the other hand, what complexities did you experience in a production level?
I think we already in a very early process of the script, we wanted to start the film with something that irritates the audience in a way, but who also invites them to think different about how we see each other and how to understand also the cinematic language. And the whole idea of the film is inviting the audience to think in the way the film thinks, in a way. And that's why we wanted to start with him being seen as a cow, and also to get like in contact with the audience by showing it's her perspective, it's how she sees him, what does she want from her husband, what does she desire, what does she long for, and that's the start, and then the film develops, and we see much more of these ideas, no?
Yeah, and it's really always a really big pleasure because we are working together and we know each other since film school already, since my first year and your second year, I think, or third year. And so we have really a long experience with developing the stories, and I have the honor that Michael always presents it in a really early stage, like only a log line kind of, and we can talk really early on in the process. And when he told me about this, I was like, that's cinema, that's something that I never kind of saw in pictures before, a feeling. So on a production level, I was really convinced that we need this, that it needs to be a film in cinema. And I think from that we developed also those extremes kind of that we then went in.
And I also wanted to ask you, I asked you about this yesterday, but I want to ask you again about how you approached Anne Schwartz, because she is the core of the film and her acting skills are impressive, but I have a specific question about if you write with her in mind or you set up the film with her in mind, and also interested to know what she added to the film, and also if you can talk about her theater background.
Well, it's funny because I think somehow I did really think about her, because in the first idea that I sent her, there was already an image of her, but we didn't know her personally. So I was still, it's very important for us always to meet the actors and know and understand if they not think the same way, that's not important, but if there is a connection somehow, no? And so when we then met her in the casting, we were already really, really impressed by her, because she just, surprised us, and we also changed roles. So she was also playing Paul in the casting, and we fell in love with both versions of the characters played by her. And I also have to say that while shooting the film, I really have to say that for me, what she did is she read that script, interpreted it in her way, and then I was there a little bit to support a little bit, but it was not that I was going there and telling, look, this is the role, this is what I have planned. No, she is so intelligent, and she reacted to every actor. Every actor in this film has a different background. Some are theater actors, some are not so professional, some are kids, they're animals, but she adapted to every one of them, and that's just the beauty of her way of playing, of her acting, but still adapting, but still staying the same person, and always going to the inner depth of the character. And I don't know how she does that. I don't know. We were sitting and watching while shooting and feeling like in a cinema already.
Yeah, and she's like, her background is in theater, but she also shot a lot of movies already. But I think it's really, she has this very, she can be really in the moment, she can be very physical, but also she's such a clever and very sensitive actress, and really has this mimic which is very, very small, and I think she can change between the big physical appearance and also having those very, like, she can really approach every actor that is in front of her in a very different way, and always being in the moment, and she really opens up, and I think that's really rare, that they open up and let everything flow through, kind of.
And also, in terms of structure, the film is like an onion, no? It has a lot of layers. It has like a mixture of genres also, no? Because it has this realistic part with the relationship, but also it has like this background of social cinema with the trade unions and the coal mines and so on. But it also has these fantastic elements. And I wanted to tell you, how did you fusion these layers, and also if you could give us more context about what happens in that region of Germany, in Cologne, and also if you can talk about the socio-political, economical situation of it.
Okay, I talk about the onion, and you talk about Germany, or how you want.
Let's peel the onion.
Yeah. Actually, there is always some point when all these things that you name become ideas and concepts, but at the very start of an idea, to me, I always feel like it comes from a playful approach. And for example, this fantastic approach that you mentioned, I know that it's somehow magical, but actually, to me, it doesn't feel so absurd, but because I think we all, and that's very important to us, this film is about how we all, human beings, perceive the ones we love and how they perceive us, and what do we find in love. And I think if you think about that a bit more time, everybody will find different roles. Everybody knows that we have an inner child or an inner animal or something like that. And so that was something that was for us in a way so natural inside of the whole story that it didn't feel too much like a concept, and how do we go from there now to the next one? But to set the whole story and these characters in this world, in this working class world, that was very important to us, because exactly what we were saying, we wanted to show that everybody loves or has the same questions in love. Of course, they find different answers, but everybody has those questions. And in this world where people are not going to the therapist all the time or go for 1 week to find themselves, how do they deal with those questions? And how do they deal with love and work if both things are questioned very deeply, which is the case in the region in Germany. That was the onion over.
I will peel further. And I think one approach that we always have is being in the locations really early, and it's not only about the locations, it's about the people who are there and who work there, who live there, and like this whole research begins really early in the development process. So that's kind of the social layer that always is part of the whole development, to also integrate the people who are part of the world, like some are also playing in the background kind of, and let us enter their world and we let them be part of our world kind of, and that's always actually a bit of a magic in itself that enters, and yeah, maybe also because you said it's quite natural that we see the world like this. I think it also comes because we have some, probably we have, of course, the German influence, but cinematically, I think we also are influenced by a lot of international cinema, because we have different backgrounds also with a bit with Spain and Mexico and Argentina. So the cinema tradition is not only German, but a bit another perspective that then influences your worldview as well.
Do we have time for 5 seconds more? Or I just want to say it very fast because I always want to say it. When I write something, I come from the ear and not from the eye so much. And I always think and write in dialect. And the people in the region speak dialect. Dialect is something that in Germany that they see those people, or they don't, you know, it's not honored very much. And that's also, we love dialect. And we always work with that, also in other films. And that's a very intuitive reason for why we go also to tell those stories. Now my dialect is gone, yeah.
No, we have discussed these past few days, I think, off camera, about how the film hardly goes into gender roles. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a woman, if it's a man, the point of view, because it talks about the relationship itself. But I think there is a concrete decision of her intrinsic subjectivity as a woman, because the film opens a debate that is socially very uncomfortable, that is a taboo, and is about the so-called postpartum depression, or this idea of feeling disconnected to the motherhood or to your daughters. And I feel it's really powerful, no? And yeah, actually it talks about the gender, about women, about those sufferings, no? Also.
Yeah, when we spoke about the story, I think at one point we always felt that a film about love, also, if it's really a film about love, it has to question love. It cannot be only about two people meeting and being happy or not. It has to, how does love really work? And in the development, we kept like going deeper and deeper into that. And then the relationships to the daughters became very important as well. In the idea, yeah, because there are so many expectations that we have about love, so many things that we feel pressured about and that make us unhappy. And to show that love, no matter for who, can be something fluent, and it can be gone, but it can come back. That was very important for us also to understand. And it's something that I also don't understand. That's why we make movies, to understand it somehow, to get the feeling for it.
Yeah, and also having not only the black and white, and then that Nadine carries everything, but in the end that she can also find shelter in her daughters, for example, when she's missing something, but they can give it. And we are always digging for the gray in the black and white, kind of, because I think that's how life is. And sometimes in stories, it's a bit black and white. It's like, yeah, it's either this way or this way, but most of the time we feel, in the real life, we feel very... yeah, we don't know where to go and have to find ourselves always again. So that was also part of it, and finding the love not only in a relationship but on every level, be it in the colleagues or the other family members. Yeah.
And just to put everything in a nutshell and very shortly, I wanted to ask you about if you feel you are connected to some Germanic film tradition, if you are heirs of any tradition of film, or if you feel that you are part of a new generation or new wave of doing cinema in Germany.
Yeah, you already said that we were mostly inspired by films actually from other countries. But I think when we look around, I mean, we are from University Film Babelsberg. Did I say Film University Babelsberg? My language is gone after all those days. And if there I look around and I see all the people from my class, I don't think that they make the classical German films that you would think of. There's a lot of desire to play with film language, with cinematic language, and also to show Germany in a way that's not usually represented. And I think often when we travel to festivals, we also get that experience. Yesterday you asked how the film was received worldwide, and I thought, actually I was surprised how it was received in Germany, because the cliché about how German people look at films, I also have it. But then we were traveling through all these cities, and I felt, oh, okay, they also want to see those films, and they also want to be invited. And I think we are not the only ones. There are a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, there is kind of an opening up, I think, also in international co-production, for example, and I think that really brings a new perspective into German cinema as well, and especially the people, or I don't know if you can call it generation we are surrounded with, they are really open. We all have really diverse backgrounds. Also, our families are from some other parts, partly also from our colleagues. So I think that really influences it and brings a new German perspective, kind of.
Thank you very much for this time, for giving those amazing answers. Y ahora os vamos a dejar con un clip de la película.
Ich habe gehört, hier muss das Bett weggetragen werden. Will da wieder wer nicht aufstehen?
Alles okay, Mama?
Alles gut. Pass mal auf, Mika. Kannst du das hier übersetzen mit deiner App? Für Arabisch und Polnisch?
Seid ihr schon entlassen worden?
Die werden nicht entlassen. Boah, ey. Das ist aber schwer. Da kann man sehen, oh, ich bin jetzt gegengelaufen. So, pass mal auf. Mika, komm mal kurz. Brauch deine Hilfe. Drück mal die Dame ganz fest hier dran. Die will nämlich auf gar keinen Fall aufstehen. So. Oha, was ist das denn? Hey, ist heute noch was schiefgelaufen? Kann das sein, ja? Okay, das erledigen wir sofort. Verstanden? Aber das kostet extra. Da muss jetzt mal hier unterschreiben.
Mach doch nicht so ein Theater jetzt.
Das ist kein Theater, das ist einer meiner besten Kundinnen. Hör mal.
Red doch einfach normal mit ihr.
Hast du gehört? Wir sollen ganz normal miteinander reden. Sag mal was ganz Normales.
Was soll das?
Was denn?
Wieso mussten wir jetzt so eine Show draus machen?
Ich kann auch mit so einer Fresse wie du da stehen, aber ich weiß nicht, ob das mehr bringt.